Welcome guys to another episode of Nas Talk. Today let's talk about why my home is not selling. My name is Daniel Kumu. I'm a local realtor with Nas Group at Keller Williams Realty, your favorite African realtor. So I just had a conversation with a seller Friday that called, I would say somewhat in panic mode. We have been listed for about 35 days and she is curious as to why the property is still active. Granted, we went under contract on Sunday. Congratulations to all parties. And I had to have a conversation with that seller. And because of that, I figured why not do a video and then just talk a little bit about the market we are going into. I totally understand my seller, where that seller is coming from. Same home, if you were to put the house on the market back in March or April of 2024, would have had multiple offers by now, be under contract with a high due diligence, close within 30 days. And today here we are, fast forward July 2024, we are still on the market. Well, we only went under contract, but we were on the market for about 35. Why? Yes, she was in a panic mode and we had a great conversation. We both sat down and just talk about the market that we in. So because of that, I wanted to do a quick video and just talk to you about today's market. Nothing to panic about in today's market. This is more or less of a normal market. And that's one of the things that I had to sit down and explain to my seller. The average days on the market pre-COVID back in July 2019 is about 53 days on the market. Fast forward July 2024, the average days on the market is at 36 days. So we are not even close to 53 days on the market. So we are still trending fairly well compared to pre-COVID 2019, where the average days on the market is 53 days. If you take that in consideration, you will see that there is nothing to panic over. What happened post-COVID from, I would say, 2020 to early 2024 is one of those markets that not a lot of us have experienced before, where the rate drop. There are times where, you may have lenders that will give you less than 3% interest rate. I refinanced back in 2022 to less than 3% interest rate on my primary home mortgage. Money was cheap, rates were very low, and because of that, affordability was much greater, so people could afford to buy home. We had a lot of investors that are buying because of the fact that the rates were low. It makes sense. The return on investment on what they're acquiring, renting it out, makes sense. So there was a lot of investors, there was a lot of buyers because of the situation. So affordability was at the point where any home that came on the market that time, somebody would buy it just because they can afford. And also it makes sense to own a home at those rates. Okay, now let's talk about a few stats before I dive into my point of view on today's market and what I want to share with potential sellers. So if you were to look at the monthly supply, go into the MLS and just do some research on stats of the Charlotte market and the monthly supply in Charlotte. Back in July 2019, we had almost 14,000 homes that were active on the market, about 3.5 month supply. And you fast forward to July 24, we are about 8,800 homes that are currently active on the market, which is a little shy of 2.5 months supply. So we are still low when it comes to inventory. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing that I will point out is back in July 2019, the total pending home, we had almost 52,000 homes that were pending, and today's July 2024, we have about 44,000 homes that are pending in the MLS at the present. Interest rate, pre-COVID interest rate, the average rate in July 2019 is about 4.5, where today in July 2024, the average rate is about 6.5. Great news. The rate has gone down. It went down last week. At one point, I believe back in May, the rate were a little shy of 8%. So having a rate at 6.5%, it is a big improvement. So one thing we wanted to take in consideration here is this. If you were to look at those numbers, let's say for instance, we took the interest rate into consideration. Back in 2019, July 2019, the median home sales price in Charlotte is about $307,000. At a 4.6% interest rate, your payment, principal and interest at that time is about $1,482 a month. So your principal interest, if you were to buy a home back in 2019, where the median home sales price at 307, your payment will be about $1,482. So fast forward 2024, July 2024, where the median home sales price is at 412 at a 6.5%. If you do the math using a mortgage calculator, 6.5%, 412,000 home purchase, your mortgage payment, principal and interest alone will be about $2,500. You add taxes and insurance, you're a little shy than $3,000, or in some area a little over $3,000 a month. That is about $1,000 gap from 2019 to 2024. Now let's break down and talk about how rates going from where they were to where they are now is affecting the market, and also because of what we went through from COVID to now. So now let's break down those numbers, right? Me, for instance, back in July 2019, 4.5% interest rate, bought a house at $307,000. My mortgage payment is $1,400 a month. That same rate at 4.5%, I could afford a home up to $500,000. Fast forward 2024, same person in 2024, in order for them to afford the median home sale price in 2024, the mortgage payment had to be $2,500, which is about $375,000, compared to fast forward July 2024, the same person, me, who could afford a $500,000 home at a 4.5% mortgage rate, now can only afford a $375,000 home. So what did I tell you? A lot of those buyers that could afford the $500,000 coming back now and notice that they can only afford it. $375,000 is more or so, I won't call it an insult, but those buyers are on the sideline because they're used to the $500,000 home, those size home, the perks of those homes, the upgrade of those homes. Now having to downsize those need, or perhaps those want to buy a $375,000. So those buyers just feel that, no, at this point, let me just stay on the sideline, hoping that the rate will go down. So with that, caused us to have a challenge on getting home under contract. The other issue we're having is on a normal market, when rate goes up and payment goes up, then supply goes up as well too. So it makes it more of a normal market where you can negotiate. Where in today's market, rates are high, home are still appreciating, yet we have a lot of sellers that are not open to put their house on the market. I was looking at some statistic on Fox Business, and I noticed that almost 78% of American homeowners have a mortgage rate of 5% or below. 60% of them have a rate of 4% or below. So taking that in consideration, a lot of people, a lot of homeowners, they only put their house on the market unless they have to. So having a low inventory, having a lot of buyers on the sideline just caused the market to be somewhat abnormal, and hence why we are seeing a lot of homes are still trending, where now if you want looking to buy, you see this on the market a little bit more. Seller tend to negotiate because there's not that many pool of buyers to choose from or to pick from. So to my opinion, when I had this conversation with my seller, one thing sellers have to realize, we are in a different market. The home will sell. Yeah, we're in a market where we will negotiate. You have to price the home right. You cannot price it, taking in consideration March, April, January, and post-COVID sold comparable. You have to price the market based on today's market, based on what have sold in the last month, in the last 2 months, because now that the rate have fluctuated, that the rate are not stable, we have to take that in consideration pricing a home. Seller have to be a little patient on knowing that it will take that special buyer to get the home. And buyers, on the other hand, now if you're a buyer, now is a good time to enter the market. You can negotiate. A lot of them are still on the sideline. I have a lot of buyers that are just waiting. Call me when the rate gets down to 4%, or call me when the rate is below 5%. No, it's not the time to wait till the rate drop. The rate might drop, it may not drop. Yet we are more or less in a balanced market where everybody should have a piece of the pie without taking advantage of one another that we had experienced back in post-COVID. So I hope this message was able to clarify something and reason why the market is not what it was, or home associated on the market. And I'm open to some feedback. What are you guys thought? What are you seeing in your market? And until then, we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.